Hammer-ons and pull-offs are one of those techniques that kind of mystify a lot of newer guitar players, and I'll show you why. This ends up happening a lot, or this, and they just can't get the right amount of attack or volume to come out of their hammer-ons. So I'm just gonna break down the technique for playing hammer-ons and pull-offs and give you some tips for making them sound really great. Let's use an A minor pentatonic scale just because most people know that one. Let's say you can play through the scale and pick every note. Or you can use hammer-ons and pull-offs. All pull-offs, all hammer-ons. But before you try to play through an entire scale using hammer-ons and pull-offs, you have to be able to get down the actual action of hammer-ons and pull-offs and the technique. And so the best place to start is probably just using your first and third finger or first and pinky finger to play hammer-ons and pull-offs on the high E string, because it's the thinnest string, generally the easiest to do it on. So plant your index finger back here on the 5th fret of the high E string, play that note, pick it, and then you're gonna come down on the 8th fret there with your pinky. And since you already have the string going with that initial pick, all you have to do is come down on, or hammer down on the string loud or hard enough to keep that vibration going. Okay? You have to experiment with what's hard enough and what's too hard. If it's not hard enough, all you're gonna do is mute the string. And maybe a better word than hard is the velocity or the speed that you come down on the string. If you come down hard enough and leave it there, hold it down. And one good little experiment may be to just do this. That's what you're shooting for, right? For a hammer-on. And you can either leave your index finger planted or not when you're doing this. But that's what you need to do. Experiment with that. And come down right behind the fret. That'll make it easier to get a sound out of it. But pick, hammer. That's like the first ground zero exercise you need to do. Now the other half, or the other side of this coin, is a pull-off. So what you want to do is get your pinky set up and then your index finger set up at the same time on those 2 frets. Pick the note you're holding down with your pinky, and then pull off as your index finger is already holding down this note on the 5th fret. So your index finger has this note already queued up. So pick and then pull. And basically what I'm doing is literally picking that note with my pinky to keep the next note going. So that's the next thing you need to do. If you do it too hard, it's gonna sound kind of, it's gonna go sharp maybe, or sound ugly if you don't do it hard enough. Or if you just come straight up off of it, it's not gonna be strong enough sounding. So you need to experiment with actually kind of plucking the string as you do a pull-off. Another technique is to do a hammer-on simultaneously with your index finger. But experiment with how hard is hard enough and how hard is not hard enough when you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. So if you hammer on too hard, the note will go sharp and you don't want that. So after that, once you get hammer-ons and pull-offs down, you kind of want to link them together to create a legato technique, which is just when you link hammer-ons and pull-offs. And the best exercise for this is to just sit there and do it. You can do it with your 3rd finger. Make sure to keep the strings you're not playing muted with either your picking hand like I'm doing here, or with, the index finger can brush up against that high, the B string to keep it quiet. But pick, hammer on, pull off. And then you can just keep the hammer-ons and pull-offs going indefinitely. And you can do that for every string in the minor pentatonic scale. Next one, it's a really good exercise just to get the coordination down. Next one. And take it slowly at first and really be extremely aware of your technique and how you're implementing the tips for the hammer-ons and the pull-offs. Very slow first and very intentional. And then once you have it to the point where you can do hammer-ons and pull-offs on a single string, then you can start trying to implement it into a scale or a lick or something.